this working? Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pretty sure I'm live right now because there's always a lag, but welcome. I technically think I'm a day late. I should have posted something yesterday, but it's been kind of crazy. So thank you for your patience with me. If you're new to the group and you got here from the Lunch and Learn through Emerging Prairie, thank you for attending. You can go back through and try and find some of the old videos if you want to watch those. Otherwise, all of the links to the resources and PDFs are pinned are pinned at the top of the page. So if you are here to watch this video, make sure you hop on and say hi, because I cannot see when it doesn't tell me who's on. I can just see that someone is watching. So hello, thank you for watching. Say hi if you want to. And then today I'm going to talk about websites. So I'm going to talk about do you even need a website? What are some alternatives? If you're a small business and you're starting out and you don't want a website, what are other options for you, or maybe you can't afford one yet. And then the third thing is how to shop for a developer, and what are some things that you should consider when you're trying to find someone to build your website. So let's get started. Do you even need a website? So this is something that a lot of people will automatically defer to and say, yes, like you have to have a website in today's age. But I kind of go against popular opinion and I say it depends. And the reason I say that is because if you are at a place in your business where you're trying to grow it very slowly and smallly, like on the side, for example, it might not be good to have a website right away at the beginning, because it might just not be necessary and it might become more of a liability than an asset. And I always say that your website should work for you. So the first thing that you probably want to know is, how much does a website cost? And that is, it kind of depends on who you have building your website. And also, you'll need some other things besides just a website. So I like to think of a website, and this is kind of a common example that other people use too, but you need a place to host your website, and you also need a domain name for your website. So hosting is like a plot of land. And if you want to build a house, you have to buy a plot of land in order to build it on. And then so hosting is the plot of land. The website is the house itself. So you're going to need to build a website, and then you're probably going to need to do some maintenance. You might need to build an addition here and there. You know, the air conditioning might break at some point and you have to go in and get a new one. So it definitely needs to be maintained. The website is your house, and then the domain name is like the address. So that's the house number on the house. Hosting is anywhere from, and usually people pay monthly, and it's anywhere from like $6 to $20 a month. And you can get hosting from like a national company like HostGator or SiteGround or Bluehost. I don't think I recommend using Bluehost, but there are a lot of like national providers. But you can also get hosting from a local place if you want to support a local business. There are a lot of like marketing agencies who offer hosting along with website development. And then there's also people who are more like IT companies who offer hosting, and they like those IT companies are like SNL Computer in town, and they do hosting, and then they do more like really big server installation for companies and stuff like that. But they do have hosting as well if you would like to work with someone locally. So that's hosting. A domain name is anywhere from like $9.99 a year to some domains are listed at like $2,000, and that's because somebody anticipates that it's going to be very lucrative, like to have that domain. So if someone had purchased COVID.com or COVID19.com, they might have bought the domain and then made it really hard made it really expensive for the government to pay for it. So I would not you spend more than like 10 to 20 bucks a month for your domain, especially they have, I think they're called vanity domains now, and you can have pretty much any domain name, but just change the dot after it. So you can have nextlevel.co, nextlevel.com, nextlevel.live, nextlevel.shop. And those are a lot of things that people are doing now. So there's tons of options out there. And then the other thing that I would recommend, and you can buy domains from like GoDaddy, you can buy them from HostGator, you can buy them from a lot of places. But if you buy it from a place and they offer domain privacy protection, buy it. If you do not, you will get spammed so hard. You will get so many spam calls every day. It's insane. Okay, so just make sure you buy the privacy protection. It's like $9.99 for the whole year. It's not $9.99 a month. It's $9.99 for a whole year. So depending upon where you buy it from, but I highly, highly, highly recommend. So that's the domain. And then a website can cost anywhere from like $1,000 all the way up to $15,000, and it really depends on the style of website that you're building. So there's kind of different sites, and I'll try and break this down as easily as I can. I am like, my tongue is twisted today. Okay. So a basic website is basically just very simple, informational. It's just information about your company, text, images, maybe a contact form, nothing super crazy. It doesn't serve, like, you don't need passwords to get into it. You don't, good Lord. You don't need certain credentials. It's not it's just for people to learn more about your business. And you can maybe even have like a way for people to pay you, or a link for people to pay you on that website, like a store or a shopping. And that's still considered pretty basic. Okay. There are also things like membership sites where you purchase access to this membership site, and then there are different features within the site. So there might be like a learning center of the site where there's courses that you can go through. There might be a directory on the site that you can go to. There might be like a forum on the site. So that would be like a membership site where you would have to have like a username and a password to enter it. And then there are different things on each module there. And then there's also like a directory website, which would be like Yelp or Apple Maps or something like that, where it's just listings. It's just used for listing and searching of certain either businesses or people who have a listing on those style of websites. Another option would be like an LMS, or something that you would use for an online course. And that would be you have, an online course that you're selling, and there's 5 different modules, and there's 10 videos in each module, and people have to progress through it at a certain pace, and they have to complete one before they can go on to another. There's resources attached to each video and comments below each video and all the different things. So the membership sites, directory sites, and learning platforms are all going to be more expensive than just like a basic website. Most of those, I would say, you would need a custom HTML web designer to build that for you. There probably are some platforms or templates that you could use if you wanted to build it yourself, but you wouldn't have as many customizable features, and it probably would be fairly limited. But I think for most people in this group, we're probably just looking at a basic site. So one thing that you should consider, I'll talk about, that's my third point. So do you even need a website? The pros of having a website are, it gives you credibility, it helps you get found on Google, it gives you a place for people to learn more about you and learn more about your brand and decide if they like you. It can give you a place to communicate with your customers, or if you have like current clients and a community, you can post updates and news there. I think the biggest factor is the legitimacy of it. Is if I go looking if I'm researching a business that I'm thinking about investing in or hiring and they don't have a website, it doesn't seem like they're a legitimate business. If that is a personal referral, if I have a personal experience with that business, then I'm willing to overlook that. But like if I just am looking for something and only their Facebook profile comes up, I'm a little leery of that. So I think it's a big credibility booster. But the cons are that, like I said, it's a house that needs to be maintained, and some of them can be money traps depending upon how you build them or how you set them up. And if you have a larger strategy to get found on Google, then you're going to need to create content for your website and need to know what your keywords are and know where to put them. And if you're building it yourself, it takes a lot of research. So you can, you want to make sure that your website is working for you. And if you're not really sure how your website would work for you, aside from maybe being a legitimate business or, like on a very basic thing, that's probably going to show you what your investment in it should be. So let's say that you decide you don't think you need a business, or you don't have a lot in your budget to build a website. We do have an alternative for that. There's two things you can do. One is called Google My Business. And even if you have a website, you need to have a Google My Business profile. Everybody in this group should have a Google My Business profile. And I'm going to do a separate video on how to optimize your Google My Business profile to make sure that it helps you in the Google rankings, because a lot of people leave things on the table. So you need to have a Google My Business profile. If you don't, go get one. It's very easy. Just Google My Business and then find out how to get set up. When you get your profile set up, make sure you fill it out as best you can. And then when you're all done with that, and after you've watched my video later this week about how to optimize it, you can go through, and on the left-hand side of the menu, there's an option that says website, and you'll go through, it's a website builder, and it teaches you, or it shows you exactly what to do, where you can put copy, where you can put your hours, and then Google will give you a website for free that's attached to your Google My Business profile. So I've never done it myself, but if somebody wants to volunteer and wants me to build them a website and a Google My Business profile, I will do that for them. I just would want to use it as an example for the group so everyone can learn and see how it's done. So if you want that done for you, let me know and I will do that. But that is a way to get a free Google My Business profile. And so you can have, the whole point of this is that you can have a successful business without having a website. So what I did was I did a local search, and I searched dog trainer Moorhead, and the results that came up, what comes up, and I can't really show you what it looks like, but when you search and the top 3 results under the location, those are the map listings, okay? And so I searched dog trainer Moorhead, and the results that came up, and this is going to be posted in the blog, but it's the Laughing Dog, Mutt Hut, and Vigilant K9 are what showed up. And next to each of those is the little blue icon. One says website, Mutt Hut says directions, and then Vigilant K9 says website. So that tells me that Mutt Hut doesn't have a website attached to their Google My Business profile. I went through and did a separate Google search for Mutt Hut, and they don't have a website. So they are ranking, when I searched for dog trainer Moorhead, they got in the top 3 on Google in the maps with no website. So like, this is doable. This is doable. You don't necessarily need a website, okay? But you need to make sure that your Google My Business profile is set up. And I can't remember, but it looks like they don't even have their phone number listed. So maybe they don't want people to call them. I'm not sure. But that's something that you want to consider, okay? And if you're it's like a map, and it's got the people listed underneath it. If you are highly relevant for someone in their search, like, your website will come up with the sub pages laid out for them, plus you will get your entire business, Google My Business profile on the right hand side. So that happens a lot when people search for like the specific name of a company. Okay, so I told you about Google My Business. That other video is coming where I tell you how to optimize your Google My Business profile. I told you how to get the free website from them. I will build one for someone if they want me to. Just let me know. And then I have a list on here of like things that you should include on your website, but I can go through that in another video. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was just how to hire a developer if you want one. So like, what should you look for? Okay, if you kind of have two different options. There's like independent developers and then there's agencies. So agencies have like a huge team. So they probably have like a back-end developer, they probably have like a designer, they probably have everything. They're capable of building really big and beautiful sites, but that might not be what you need. Independent developers still might have HTML knowledge and be able to build something big and beautiful, but they might be able to offer a little bit smaller prices, more affordable prices, because they're not they don't have to hire like a project manager, and they don't have as much overhead because there's not as many as employees. Okay, so and then there's like a template developer like me. There's a lot of people like me who we just offer website development because we know that our clients need it. So I can't do HTML coding or anything like that, but I can make big, beautiful websites. Not super fancy. They don't have a lot of like bells and whistles, but they're beautiful and they get the job done. And they're affordable. And then the other thing is that like if you do go with an independent provider, there are 3 elements that go into your website, and it's like the design, the function, and the design, the function, and the marketing. Duh. So it's like you want to have like it designed well, you want it to function well. So designed well meaning it looks good. Function meaning that it like does what it's supposed to do. And then the marketing is that like the copy and the words and the images on it are designed for your clients and help them do what you want them to do, whether that's sign up for your email list or buy a product or whatever. And there are very few independent developers who are skilled in all 3 of those. Like even myself, I'm not great with design, so that's why I build template stuff. And also I'm not a developer, so I use pre-built templates. But I do know a little bit about marketing, so then I can include that on there as well. Where like an independent developer who only knows HTML might not know a lot about design or marketing. Agencies would have all 3 of those things, but it would be a little bit more expensive. Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is custom themes, billing, and SEO. And then I'm going to get off here because it's already been 18 minutes. Holy cow. Okay, so there's custom themes, and then there are like template themes. Custom themes require HTML knowledge or JavaScript or whatever kind of online coding knowledge, and they're custom built for your specific business. Templates are more like you can download them on the internet and use them for free on your website, but you can customize them. It's going to look like your own because it has your own pictures. You can change the fonts, and then you can pay a little bit of money for an upgrade, and then you can get even more, unlock even more features. And it would be similar to like I googled a couple of boutiques the other day to do some market research, and it's like you can tell they all use the same Shopify theme or whatever, and you can tell that, but it's their own store. It has their own branding, and you can tell it's their own, but you can also tell it's the own theme. So the difference between the two is that a template theme, you can continually change that, update it, switch to a new theme, move things around. It's not hard. A custom theme is like hand built for your business. And so if you hired an agency or a developer to do that for you and you wanted to change the background color or something like that, you would need them to fix it. Whereas with like a template one, you could fix it yourself. So little changes would go back and forth all the time. on the one side. Okay. And then, okay, SEO and billing. So the other thing that I wanted to just help people understand is like when your SEO person, or sorry, when whoever is building your website says like, oh, we do this for SEO or we add on an SEO package, like make sure you know what you're getting, okay? Because there's a lot of different things that could be considered SEO. And I think that some businesses take advantage of people here that when they don't know what SEO is or how it works or whatever. So there's a bunch of different things that could be considered SEO. And so if someone has an SEO package, make sure that you know what it is and that you're asking them if it's on page optimization, which would be like putting your keywords in the H1 section or the H2 section. And then that was Aaron Willits texting me again, always during my live videos. And so if they're not asking you what your keywords are, that would be something that you should be concerned about. There's a thing called schema markup where they can do that on the back end. That's installing code onto your website that tells Google what's on your website. Keyword research is like really, really valuable. So if their SEO package includes keyword research and it's not that expensive, that's a good deal. If it's, the other thing you can ask is like, is it just ads? You know, because if they're just trying to get you to pay a bunch of money in ads and you're not ready for a paid strategy, that doesn't make sense, you know? So make sure that you know what you're getting before you say okay to that or sign up for the add-on package. And then the last thing is the billing and the long-term commitment. So this, I kind of alluded to this earlier and said, if you hire an agency or a developer and they build you a custom theme and you don't have that knowledge, you'll need to go to them for every change. And if it's an agency, and this is kind of what I talked about before, they will put a team together for every project. So when I had to go to an agency and ask them to make a change, and it was 3 changes, 2 were very, very little, and 1 was like slightly bigger than very little. And they assembled a team. They had a project manager, they had a developer, they had the back-end person. So they spent the time to build the team, and then I communicated with the account manager, he communicated with the developer, made the changes, then he came back to the account manager told me those changes were done, we're just waiting on the last one, you know. And it's like $600 later, the background color on your website has changed. So if you don't have the money to, you know, spend with them every time, or, you know, like if it's going to be expensive every time, then an agency or a developer that's making you a custom theme is probably not the right way to go. You know, like sometimes it's like $100 to upload a blog post that you wrote in a Google Doc and stuff. And I'm not trying to dog on agencies, because they need to make money, they need to pay their employees, and when you have employees, there's overhead. It's just how things work. But so it just can be more expensive. I'm not saying it's not worth it, because if you want a custom site, then it's worth it, you know. But if you have basic needs, then I think like a basic site and a basic developer would probably be a better fit. But so just be aware of that's kind of set up where they build you a site and then it's not like you walk away with it. It's like if you need anything ever again, you have to go back to that agency unless you want to move your site somewhere else and have another developer fix it. Okay, so that is just kind of what I wanted to offer to people today, like how to build a website for free, what you need to think about when you are thinking about maybe paying someone to do a website for you, and then kind of just like what are the costs associated with the website, and if you even need one. Here he is again. Good Lord. Okay. My phone was on silent, but my computer is ringing. So, I'm gonna do another 2 videos this week. One on how to optimize your Google My Business page, and then one on how to optimize your website. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you want me to build you a Google My Business profile or website, I will do that for you for free. I just want to record it. So let me know. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I will be back tomorrow and Friday. Or wait, yeah, tomorrow and Friday. Okay, thanks, guys.